How do you think that went? How do you think that went? Try to convince me not to do sequins? Because that's the move. My Luke, wardrobe furnished by Amazon.com. Mm-hmm. Yep, every burlesquer and drag queen's best friend. Yeah. I think okay, I think that you might have been muted for the first minute. Um
Oh, was I?
yeah, you were muted for the first minute, but I fixed it.
Oh my God, I talked so much.
Yeah. Okay.
Say it.
We're figuring these things out early.
I know, thank God we did. Wait, I can't find, I want to find the live feed so I can share it, and it's not doing it. There we are. Look at how good Eileen looks. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, you're on. You're definitely on.
Am I on? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not feeling well. I do not have the Rones, so everyone chill out. I have just a typical little bug. So I tried to convince Eileen to not do sequins as our theme tonight.
Yeah. Which I was only too happy to oblige, as you can tell. I totally complied with that request. I was like, yeah, hold on, let me look in my wardrobe. Nope, sequins. I guess we're gonna do the light sequins.
Yes, so you were really casual, and we didn't plan this, and we both did red sequins.
That's just our vibe. That's the level. So yeah, this did come from Amazon.com, and this jewelry, I was telling Brooke, she always asks me where I get this jewelry
Look
from.
at the tassel game on Eileen Galvin right now. Hold up the necklace, because the necklace is also tasseled.
It is also tasseled, yes.
You can tassel anything. Like I swear to God, you have socks with tassels.
I wish that I did. That's a great idea now that you mention it. But no,
oh my God, new ad.
Yeah, there is a vendor who does jewelry. She's got an Etsy store called Odyssey and Oddities, and she's in Canton or Cleveland. But her stuff is very beautiful. It is very, very artsy. Like, she's got the kind of museum that you look like you just walk in and people would ask you how many museums you own. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, yeah.
Like just picture like a long turtleneck, just to the floor dress. You know what I mean? Totally black turtleneck dress. And you just let the jewelry do the talking.
You just let the jewelry do. That is actually, that could be your motto if it was jewelry and clothes in here. Just let everything do the talking. Like everything. You know what I'm saying?
You're so sweet. Thank you.
I'd like to point out, I would come down, living with Eileen Galvin, I would come downstairs for a show or a date, and I would be in like this and like fishnets. And I would be like, I don't know, this might be too revealing. And she would be like, less. Say less with less clothes. Every single time.
Yeah, with me, the answer is always not revealing enough.
It's always
I need you to take some layers off. Like,
what do you have on that could be mesh? Yeah. Just see what you can do.
Yeah. Could we substitute for mesh?
Really? So y'all, I cannot wait to see the situation at hand. Eileen is coming through yet again with another covered dish. We talked last week about our theme.
Yes.
This week, which is Jell-O. So please spill the beans on what happened in your Jell-O mold odyssey.
Yes. So, and first, I just want to take a moment to address the elephant in the room. Yes, there are some changes this week. I had a little bit of a chat with our technical team, and I said, listen, we're going to need to step it up, okay? I need close-ups. I need cutaways. I need moving backgrounds. And they did quit. So, unfortunately, you all are stuck with me. So let's go on. We're trying out some new stuff tonight, you know. So
Eileen is the technical director and star of Covered Dish.
So unfortunately, the sequins are going to get obnoxious, but let us know if some of the things, the new the new sequences, the new features tonight. If you like the things you see, if you want to see some more of that stuff, if there's stuff that you thought was maybe a little bit much, I can take it. We want to scale it back and make so
maybe put that comment for itself. Maybe put that comment through me, the HR director. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then I'll deliver it to Eileen in like a compliment sandwich a la 90s HR.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like your tassels are serving. The PowerPoint seemed busy. Yeah. I love your hair. Something like that, you know?
We need a positive sandwich. We do.
We do need it.
And the theme, like we've said in this show, is that we wear many hats and we're filling multiple roles. So, we're doing our best. But anyway, let me shift to the focus of the covered dish of this evening. So we decided we were going to do something. Actually, shout out to Felicia, our very good friend Felicia DeRosa, who suggested that we do Jell-O salad. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. A mainstay, nay, an icon of American cooking. And also, as I was reading about this, because a lot of people have a feeling of nostalgia. Maybe you grew up with Jell-O salad, you had instant Jell-O. Feelings on that are probably mixed. I know my partner, Monty, when I said I was doing Jell-O salad, he was like, why? You know what I mean? Because he grew up in the era of Jell-O salad where you would take like lime flavored instant Jell-O and mix it with like olives and romaine salad and just suspend it in just clear gelatin. You guys know what I mean. You know the ones.
Girl, but look.
Yes. So this is an actual picture of the Jell-O salad that I created for this
season. My God. Oh my God. That looks amazing. What's in that?
This recipe, so let me just say the difficulty for this recipe is 1 thinking emojis out of 5. I made that scale up. But it is very simple. Now I know what you're thinking. Molded desserts, how could they possibly be simple? But this recipe, let me tell you, just like last week's, it's like 5 ingredients.
Oh my God.
You go down to the frozen section, and then you go to the canned section, because this is what this era is all about, right? Like pre-prepared canned foods.
Reusing shit.
Yes,
just
exactly.
Like reusing whatever you have just use it. Yeah.
Domestic goddess. You have some leftovers that are about to go, mama, throw it in a Jell-O mold.
I really feel that so deeply because I had, 2 days ago, I had some mushrooms and broccoli left over, and I was like, should I make paleo pad thai or should I put them in a Jell-O mold? And it was just a really big toss.
Gelatin.
Because I think if you cut into a Jell-O mold and found a mushroom, I mean,
yeah. And you
kill
just
yourself.
Get the 5 kids out, you say, kiddies, we were strapped for cash this month, and then you just perfectly divide it into like 5 slices.
Mushrooms for dessert.
Yeah.
Yes. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Your cake plate game, again, astoundingly strong. Astounding.
Well, wait till you see it in person, so I'm going to move to the dish cam.
Dish cam!
I'm so excited about the dish cam. Okay.
This is very exciting.
The dish cam is literally just a bigger video of me with the word dish cam over it, but gets the job done.
Again, our technical director is crushing it. We are ready. We are ready for the dish cam.
So this is the dish. The dish was delish. Mm-hmm.
Ah!
Well, we haven't tried it yet. So I am now going to plate this live on the air.
Oh my God, your dish cam.
I need more hands and also like more desk space for this, but let me just set this down.
This is amazing.
All right, so while we work on this business,
yes. Tell me the process. Tell me the process of making this monstrosity. What's in it? Like, what is suspended in it?
Let's talk about that. So the ingredients for this are, you go down to the frozen section, you get frozen sweetened strawberries. And then I got instant strawberry flavored Jell-O brand Jell-O. So it is sugar on top of sugar on top of sugar. Then you pour that in and let it congeal. Let's see if I can get a good cut for you here.
Yeah. A little higher up.
Oh my God. Yes. Is that good?
That's beautiful. Yeah, yes.
All right. So the top layer is crushed pineapple and frozen strawberries, and the bottom layer is the juice from the strawberries and the pineapple with sour cream.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's the big reveal with this is sour cream. I have no idea how this is going to taste.
Well, it's only $1.29 at the store. I don't know how much sour cream is.
So
I really
economical.
I don't know how much sour cream is. I feel like dairy is expensive. I feel like if I was a 1950s housewife and I'd like make something fucking work on a low budget, sour cream would not be in my fridge.
Oh, and the history of gelatinized desserts is so interesting. So like it's been around since medieval times, but it was a centerpiece on the tables of nobility because the process to extract gelatin from beef bones was so time consuming that it was like a signal to your dinner guests that you had the extra staff and the extra time for them to like wring emulsions of cow bones into cheesecloth 15 times. It's horrible. And then I think Jell-O, so here we go.
Oh, wow. Wow. All right. Taste test time. You have to try it.
All right, here we go.
I mean, you have to.
This is the X Factor part of the show again, remember?
Oh my God. First words that come to mind.
Sweet, but not as sweet as I was expecting.
Oh.
It doesn't taste like sour cream, surprisingly. It really just kind of gives it an opacity, which is kind of nice aesthetically. Jell-O is all about aesthetics, right? It's all style and no substance. Which, I'll send you, it's okay. You know what? It's okay. It's a great entry level dish into suspending random shit in gelatin.
You also gave us our new tag, which is all style, no substance.
All style, no substance. Brooke Cardis and Eileen Galvin.
All style and no substance. Speaking of which, it's getting a little chilly.
Ooh. Mama, bring out the fur. Let me make
Girl,
this bigger.
had to.
I'm going back to main chat so we can get a look at this fur.
Oh, girl.
Who is she? Where is she going?
Faux purple fur, probably from a thrift store in Columbus, that I bought for a show that then I never wore.
Yum, yum.
Which is the best. Well, we are not all style, no substance today because this episode is about Jell-O molds, LGBTQ adoption, and queer representation in animation. So we've gotten to the Jell-O molds, and here's the deal. Get in the chat and comment if you want Eileen to eat more on air. I just don't want anyone to miss out on those chances for Eileen Galvin to take a bite. How much of this Jell-O mold really does she want to eat? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe not this one particularly, but I will. but I will eat more of something, and I'll also oh shoot, I think it's Home Living. Oh shoot, I was gonna remember the name of the website this is from, but I will give you the recipe in the description. If you're interested.
Girl, you better. You too can make your own Jell-O mold at home.
Someone already said eat more.
Yes.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Also, I feel like I'm really serving up, and maybe it's just because it's been in the news, like Kim Cattrall from Sex and the City vibes in this coat, and I love every minute of it. Also, there's no Sex and the City reboot without Samantha, and this is a hill I will die on. Okay, so let's talk brass tacks. I don't know what anyone else was doing last Wednesday, but there was a coup. Oopsie doodle. And while there was a coup, the Trump administration also rescinded a law or a regulation that barred federal agencies from discriminating against LGBTQ folks. Particularly, so this was a rule that affected Health and Human Services. So HHS, Health and Human Services, supports adoption agencies. And this has been an effort for years, decades, if you've been in the space of LGBTQ work, where you know that folks have been trying to make sure that adoption agencies can discriminate against LGBTQ couples. So it can go either way. They could allow an LGBTQ couple not to foster or adopt, or they could prevent placement with an LGBTQ couple. So it's really just totally awful and just another amazing combination of both like cruelty and like ineptitude of this administration. I think this leans more towards cruelty, but there is a Supreme Court case that's coming up about this as well. And this was really, I think, just a signal to the already conservative Supreme Court from the administration, letting them know what they want them to do, because that's the corruption level we're living in at this point. So LGBTQ adoption is a point close to my heart, and I want you all to stay up to date on all of the all of the things that are happening, because marriage equality is great. I mean, I personally just got divorced, so I'm not like in the vibes, but I hear it's great.
Or so I have read.
Or so I've read.
Really great things about it.
I've just heard really great things about it, but I also am serving serious divorcee vibes in this. So
I mean, I like gay marriage. I subscribe to Better Gay Homes and Gardens.
I do. I love gay marriage. I've used it at least 3 times now.
So I'm just gonna today. No, that's.
I'm just gonna keep advertising.
That was okay. Can we fix that one in post?
Fix it in post. Cut it. No, I mean by the end of this per code is going to give me 3 more gay divorces. Like, that's just how this code is. Like, it just populates.
Otherwise, you need to take it back because she's not doing it.
All $7 from like the Eileen and I were talking kind of about queer representation in animation, and then I was like, oh, I think seeing queer families is really important. And I know for my straight friends who have come to me and want like me to throw them an adult parade, which I always will, and they're like, oh, my son or daughter was like, yeah, they're young and they're in school and they've met people with 2 dads or 2 moms, and it's really helpful because kids actually get it way more than adults do anyways. So we started talking about it, and then of course we started talking about for Eileen, like some cartoon no one's ever heard of. So Eileen is going to talk about a cartoon I hadn't heard of, and then I was shamed into watching.
Did you watch some of it?
I did. I started, but then I fell asleep.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for the journey you're about to go on. So
I know it's going to be a journey.
First of all, I just wanted to add that that representation, I think, is so important for moments like this for everybody, partly for straight people, because if you have not seen, and I mean specifically, like, obviously there's straight people who know gay people who have kids, but for straight people who do not have experience with seeing positive loving family units with gay parents, you might possibly think, well, the gays aren't good at doing that, right? They're just,
right.
We haven't seen an example of it, so you don't know that reality exists. But then also, obviously, for kids who are the most commonly the ones who are watching cartoons, if you have representations of queer people and queer families, then they can see that and think, oh, okay, my family isn't weird. Or
right.
I have a future as a parent. There's just so many positive things that people get out of that. And I think it's what also helps move us forward when these pieces of legislation get shoehorned into these moments where we're distracted by other things.
And I really love that, because I think it's also a reminder that so many of the coming out stories involve trauma and terribleness, and right. So when we see media representation, certainly in the 90s when I was growing up, Boys Don't Cry, movies I never even could make it all the way through. Like, I just can't, like, they're so devastating. And it's like, yeah, it's great to have a good coming out story, but what's even better is just like having it be part of the fabric of the world that the show is creating, right? Like, don't make it a thing. It just turned out that this person is a part of the community and they're in this, right? And it's not this like giant announcement. It's just part of the world. And when you're talking with kids, it's just like, when they're like, oh, kids are so direct, they'll just, I've had masculine presenting partners and the kids will just go and be like, are you a boy or a girl? They're like, I just need to figure this out. I just need to move on with my day and eat my fruit snacks. Right.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh God, let me get my slide deck. You're
like, oh.
Slide 1, there's more than 2 genders. Slide 2, you know what I mean? You just get tired of it. And then
like, ma'am, why are you doing this at the playground? And you're like, well, she asked a question.
Yeah, I'm like, I just need to have something ready in Google Drive that I could just share out with the masses. But anyway, so the cartoon that we were going to talk about first, because I'm an avid cartoon viewer, so we're gonna get to some tunes. But the one we really wanted to talk about was She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, the remake, which I believe started back in 2018. And so spoilers ahead for She-Ra, and also
for a show that's 2 years old, and you should have already watched it.
Yeah. Should have watched it, but also there's going to be spoilers for the other shows we talk about, so we'll mention the show first, just in case you don't want to hear the spoilers for it. But for She-Ra, there is a lot of representation. In fact, I saw on the title card on Netflix when I was watching it, it said Representation Matters Collection, and I was like, let's not throw ourselves that parade just yet, Netflix.
Oh my God, yes. Netflix
I'll be the judge of that.
Netflix is like attempts at diversity and inclusion, or so. They're just like, we do like Black people. I'm like, oh, that's fun. Thank you. Thank you.
A non-binary character, and of course, as soon as they come on screen, my opera glasses are like, oh, I'm like, let's see how this goes.
They're like, da 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 da. They did it. They did it.
The scene's done, and I just go, trash.
Let me tell you why everything was wrong.
Yeah. No, it's fine. But at the end of season 2, so I'm gonna switch to I need to get the hang of like switching my views so that I don't know
right.
telegraphing everything I'm doing.
I do like it. I like the update. We were gonna include our discussion and decimation of the lesbians from the happiest season in our cartoon episode because that movie was so dumb, but we didn't have that kind of time. Go ahead, Eileen. Let's talk She-Ra.
So in the last episode of season 2, you're introduced to one of the main characters, Bo, who is one of like just very sweet, very sensitive male character who is also black. So there's so many positive things about this character already. But then the reveal in the season 2 finale is that he has 2 gay dads who are the sweetest things ever. And honestly, I wish they were recurring characters, but I don't think it's. I haven't finished the series yet, but I'm like most of the way through the last season, and it doesn't look like they're coming back at this point.
Boo.
Yeah. So on the one hand, there are some possible, like, you could make the possible criticism about tokenization because there's a cast of characters in which they're trying to have representation from a lot of different areas. And I think this happens sometimes in fiction where you have this representation catch-up when you have a lack of diversity that is so normal in fiction or in really any form of media, but animation too, right? You will have a single character that checks all these boxes.
Right.
However, I can't think of another animated thing where you have they just put them in front of you and say, yes, this character has 2 gay dads. This is a family with gay parents. And it's not part of the conflict. It's not part of the plot. It's just a fixture. It's just a fixture of what's going on in that episode.
Right. And I think it's like, instead of making it the focal point, making it just part of the world. But I think that I really find that fascinating when it's like, oh shoot, when shows are trying to catch up, right? They're like, okay, we're going to check all our boxes with this one situation. And like the difference between kind of tokenism and or saying, okay, no, this is part of the fabric of the show and the world we're creating in the show.
Yeah, and also they're very affectionate with each other. I mean, you see them like, they like say how much they love each other and they hold hands and there's like group hugs and they're like, we just want you to be happy, talking to their son. So, I mean, even for just masculinity.
Yeah.
There are all these other intersectional things going on with gayness and blackness and all of that. But just from the standpoint of masculinity, my heart was just like so warm for this whole episode. So I had to bring it up when we were talking about adoption and we wanted to talk about animation. It's like, this is one of the best and also only examples that I can think of, and it's from like 2 years ago. Right.
Well, and I'm sure there's a lot, and if you have an LGBTQ representation thing, feel free to comment if you know of a good one, because I think it's so interesting to kind of think about how we were raised and how all of it was kind of just like sub-cues and really subtle. And in other ways, you look back and you're like, no, some of those characters are like really, really fucking gay. But I just didn't have the language when we were kids, you know?
Yes.
I wasn't exposed to that.
If you also like frustrating gay subtext to the point where you're like, just kiss already, She-Ra will still give that to you.
If you're like, I want to torture myself, like I'm the Reverend in the Crucible, that's still available for you.
Yes. And I feel like that's part of the queer damage in our culture, is that if you give it to us right out of the bat or right out of the gate, or you make it too obvious, then we're like, I wanted to wait around for 3 seasons to have
this was not for me.
rewind and watch the 10 frames where I think someone kissed in the background, you know?
Oh my God, just Modern Family us, why don't you? Jeez, that...
Not a fan. Also, someone requested that we talk about Steven Universe. I don't want to go at it at length because we do have a lot of other... We got things to do. You know?
We got Dish to cover.
We've got Dish. But I think Steven Universe is a good example of another sensitive male character in Steven, who is growing up with 3 alien, also gay, 3 alien gay moms. So that's pretty cool too.
And I think that's interesting because a stereotype that really could play to like the effeminate male, right? Being raised by women, I think is something that is a huge gay stereotype, right? Like, oh, I mean, the whole, oh, he's a gay guy because he was close with his mom. He was, you know what I mean? And it's like, how do you kind of take back some of those things and say, hey, this is our family. It's unconventional, or not, whatever John Roberts wanted in his stupid marriage equality opinion, which I'm not going to get into right now because I get so fired up about it. Where's it, Kennedy? I don't remember who wrote it. I'll look it up. It's not my night. But, how you kind of take a stereotype like that and turn it on its head and make it something beautiful.
Yeah, because Stephen was not only learning his power, like, figuratively in terms of like his confidence and his place in the world and how to form like meaningful relationships, but he was also learning how to use his literal alien powers, like his gem powers from his moms.
Right.
And that's another tearjerker of a show. That has good positive non-binary representation. She-Ra, not so much. And if you know the character I'm talking about, please say it in the comments because I don't even want to talk about them right now. I am not into it. It's like taking the villainous, campy gay trope and like putting it onto a non-binary character.
Oh my God.
Like, look, also, we did non-binary.
We did it. I also feel like it's like it gets so frustrating, and like this is just now me venting to you and not even part of the show. Where like there's one like character, like, oh my God, when Billions came out and there was a non-binary character, I got like so many people that were just like, no, it's like so much easier now because I watched Billions, and now I've heard of like non-binary, like they, them used in a sentence, and now it's so easy. And I'm like, why did you need this show? And like, also why, it's just like, oh my God, like one non-binary character and you're going to hear about that non-binary character for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So, there needs to be more examples.
Well, we have spent a lot of time on shows that I am deeply familiar with. So, I just didn't want to take all the time, Brooke. Did you also want to talk about maybe a show that...
I can't even straighten my arm all the way. I'm so excited.
Touchdown Brooke is like my favorite. It's like, get into it.
I'm so into it. We'll talk about my favorite show. So those of you who know me know I'm obsessed with Bob's Burgers. But like, I want to let you know and keep you aware that like it's not obsessed. It's just like the only show I watch. Like I want to take it to a next level, but
it's also just objectively good. So
it is an objectively good show. I have gotten in fights with exes. It's not the exact reason we broke up, but I'm not going to say it wasn't the reason we broke up. In terms of Bob's Burgers versus The Simpsons, who had better like representation for queerness. And obviously I vote Bob's mostly for, what's interesting is I think the kids are the most interesting versus like Tina and Gene to me. So there's been a lot written around like Tina and how she, has budding sexuality, and at an age of like 13, she's not like, that's just not seen. Right. So like pre-pubescent into pubescent girls are never really allowed to like sexualize boys, right? In these shows, it's always like the girl's like the astute studier or the prude or the annoying one or whatever. And I love I love how awkward and like sexual they allow Tina to be.
Yeah.
But also I like love that Gene is just like so also free in that. Like he has little crushes on girls, but like when he gets devastated about losing his best friend Alex in Roller, I Hardly Knew Her, that episode, which is just a name I know off the top of my head because I know all the titles. He sings this like heart cover to him because he misses him so much. And that's the most passion we see from Gene. And it's not necessarily that he is in love with his best friend who's a boy, but it's that like he loves his friends so much. So it's not just that like Gene is coded as gay, like he loves music and he's really flamboyant and he's all of these things and he misses his best friend and sings a heart cover about him, but he also just misses his best friend. Like, and it's not like, oh, he's this secret gay kid. We've all missed our best friend. Do you know what I mean? Like Amy Bruce and I got in a huge fight over NSYNC and me like stealing her visor and we didn't talk for a while. You know what I mean? We all have that fight. What up, Amy? Yeah. I just think like the juxtaposition of the freeness of those characters, I think, is amazing.
Yeah.
And we also wanted to talk about the, no, go ahead. Go.
No, I just wanted to say that I love that. So Gene's a little bit younger, so, he's like exploring the idea of crushes and stuff, but Tina's a little bit older, maybe going through puberty right now. And I love that they chose a female character to explore the sort of developing, how do I feel about my sexuality, these feelings that I'm having that I haven't figured out yet. I don't know why they're happening. I don't completely understand them, but I am dealing with them. And I think men get to have that narrative in fiction a lot, but you don't see a lot of young girls and women and see their internal perspective about the way they feel about their sexuality. And I think that the lack of representation for that in the past has led to kind of this internalized shame about your body, and nobody's talking about this. I'm not seeing this being talked about anywhere, so I need to hide it at all costs.
Well, and it's also like, and it's like, that's so interesting that you say that, because I think it's the internal view is so important. Like, we'll hear about like young girls at that age, but like they're doubting themselves and they don't know. Like, Tina's sexuality is just so fucking confident and free. Like, she's just like, Google butt loose, you'll know. Like, it's just so right. And of course, it's like covered under this like awkward exterior.
But like an erotic friend fiction.
Which I love. All right, so. Yeah, I'm going to have to think about this. I'm going to have to write some erotic friend fiction, I think, for next week.
Yeah, do you want to do a reading?
I'm going to do a reading of some erotic friend fiction next
Live
week.
Reading?
So
I love that idea.
I love that. I'm going to call out. I'm going to have to think on that, but I'm going to write some for next week. I think that's a good idea.
Make us uncomfortable.
Make us uncomfortable.
Just look at the line and then take one step over it.
Just sashay onto and over.
You can't see me, but this is how I take a step. Just a single step.
With my shoulders.
The car's ready? And then I just descend the staircase.
And it's just a series of tassels. You can't even see your body. It's just all tassels.
The organza just keeps coming. Like a cascade.
Oh my God. Well, we were talking about like the problematic moments in Bob's Burgers, because there were some, and I think specifically
it's not perfect for sure.
Trans representation in everything is complicated.
Let's go there, you know? Let's go there. Because I feel like sometimes people give Bob's Burgers a pass, or they give shows a pass because of the things that they've done in like newer seasons. But it's like, no, that doesn't mean that we need to cancel these shows or that we're not allowed to enjoy them. But I think we should have an honest talk about some of the choices that were made earlier on in the show and just kind of deal with them, you know? Right.
So in an early season Sheesh Cab Bob episode of they're throwing Tina a Sweet 13 party in the restaurant, and Bob takes a night job driving a cab and meets trans sex workers, but of course that's not the term they use. And there's just like a lot of like really tasteless jokes and really terrible transphobic shit. And they never really bring those characters back. The three trans sex workers that Bob kind of bonds with, but there's just like a lot of jokes about them, obviously around transphobia and also drug use. And you're just like, what is happening? Like, what was happening in that writer's room where they're like, no, this is a good idea.
Yeah. Drug use, sex work, sort of making light of the dangerous options that trans people have in order to get like gender affirming care. And it's like, that's not a punchline, you know?
And it is literally a punchline. They like make it a fucking punchline.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and I think like with something, it's different than like something like Hedwig, right? Which is a piece of art that's kind of been designed on this. It's just, they're just there for punchlines, right? And like we recognize this difference in the LGBTQ community. Me as the trans ally, I recognize it. But I was like, this is a show I really, really love. And I think they have done, you know, while they have these missteps and I don't take them, you know, I do really struggle watching that episode, but I do tell people if they haven't seen it to watch it, because I think you need to see it. The character of Marshmallow, which I think you have a good photo of Marshmallow if you want to pop that up.
I surely do. She looks like she's turning the party. Like she is. She's in the smoke. She's doing what I wish we could do right now.
Oh, girl.
Getting herself together and heading out.
Just having 4 casual Grey Gooses at Wall Street nightclub on a Tuesday.
Yeah, a casual 4 martinis.
Oh my God. How did we wake up in the morning? I just don't even understand it. So Marshmallow's brought in just kind of as a last minute party guest. and doesn't have a ton of lines, but they're all really respectful. And then she stays on, she's
icon.
Instant icon, instant queer icon. They've used her. Bob's Burgers has used her to sell merch for to raise money for the Trevor Project, which is an LGBTQ org that supports anti-suicide initiatives for queer youth. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is so amazing that they've kept her on in this like casual way where it's like positive, and Bob has like a little crush on her, but it's not overly sexualized. He just really like admires her free spirit. And she just kind of pops in and out like one of the townsfolk, right? Like we're coming by to grab a burger. And there's just like these really cute little lines, like the episode where they think Linda's a psychic, where, she says someone who's going to walk in is going to be tall, dark, and handsome. And it ends up being Marshmallow. And Bob goes, oh, Marshmallow's not handsome. She's beautiful. And, Marshmallow just goes blush, and that's it, right? And it doesn't, but it's not a whole thing, and it's not a whole story arc, and it's just this like, really cute moment that isn't hypersexualized. We've talked about that kind of with Tu Wong Fu and the hypersexualization of specifically trans women. And I think like, shows like Pose, obviously focused around trans women of color, kind of show that the sexualization of trans women is oftentimes how trans women survive. So, we have to work on breaking that because we have to create a space for the trans women to be all of themselves in media.
Yeah. And also this character is also not perfect, right? Because of, first of all, just the way that she first appeared on the show, she was sort of like
another little punchline. I would say
she was just an accessory for the moment. And kind of a punchline. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Where do I put my coat? Oh, iconic line.
Iconic line, though. Yeah. Iconic line. Has become since an iconic line. Yeah.
Right. But love her or hate her, and we are not, we on this show are not trying to tell you how to feel one way or the other. You are welcome to not find this as positive representation or find this positive representation. But as always, we want to present different sides and talk about the issues. You like that?
I do like that. That was very good. Like unless you don't like Marshmallow, then get out.
Yeah. We're like a queer all sides with Ann Fisher, if I do say so.
Oh my God.
No, Ann Fisher, we could never. But anyway, so I just think it's really interesting. The three, and I don't remember their names because they're only in that one episode, but the three trans people, the three trans women. I feel like I could make sure to say three trans women.
Yeah.
The three trans women that Bob meets in the car versus Marshmallow. I just think like, well, what are the mechanics? Like, how did they write those characters so wrong and then write them out like just kind of quietly like, oh, we're just not going to touch on that anymore. And then can we come back? Thank you for everything. Bye. Yeah. And then how did they manage to write forward? Like write this character forward, develop this character, and make this character somewhat of like a recognizable part of the community, the Bob's Burgers community. Like I feel like if there was a Where's Waldo book, Marshmallow would be on, at least more than one page, right?
Oh yeah, it would be Where's Marshmallow?
Exactly.
Right.
And
which would be great merch. Yeah. It would be very good. But no, I do see where it's like, okay, how do we create, trans representation where so you want obviously shows where like reveal the true trans struggle, I think are incredibly important, and I'm not taking away from that. But what progress could be made? Like, I know a lot of people who are not going to sit down and watch Pose, right? Like, and if that's what we're relying on, that's not enough. And
which by the way do. I love that show.
Oh, absolutely watch that show. Yes, no question. But I'm saying like for folks that are like, okay, I think we can make more progress in media with having trans characters and non-binary characters just part of the fabric of the culture, like the fucking world is, right? Like I'm not like, well, all right, there's a trans person like eight
everyone series away. Doing and ask her about her journey and her truth. You know what I mean? Like,
to be fair, I do start every conversation with you about how's your journey, how's your truth.
And I'm like, I'm just buying yams. You know what I mean? Cover dishes in 3 hours. I need to get these yams in the oven.
Some yams. Yeah. You know how long they take to cook?
Like
They're dense.
At this point, I'm gonna have to wrap them and stick them in the microwave. Like
it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. Because I had to talk about my truth with you, Carl, at the Giant Eagle Market District.
I've got a great slide deck for you. You got a Google Drive?
Honey? You got a Google Drive, honey? Mm-hmm. Just put that in. Just stick it in.
The drive?
That's fine.
I love it. It's such a contradiction, me talking about technology and looking like I'm from the 60s. You know what I mean?
I know, it's great. That's
Have you heard
that's
about cloud file sharing? It's the new thing.
What did I need? You know, what did I need? I needed a little, what is the little thing you stick in the drive? What is the thing? Like a thumb drive?
Oh yeah, thumb drive.
And I needed to go back in time. Like, I was like, where are my thumb drive? Like, I don't even know where they are. I needed one. I was like, I feel like I'm in the CIA. Like, I haven't had to actually use one of these in so long.
Yeah.
I'm not in the CIA though, Facebook, so chill out.
Yeah. I mean, you sneeze, if you're on a stream and you sneeze these days, you know, you might get a little notice, so just
a little notice from the Zucks.
Yeah.
I think I'll be fine. We're on a first name basis apparently.
Yeah.
No, I think I'm so glad we talked about Marshmallow, because you know I have like severe feelings.
Me too.
But I think
I had one last image here of Marshmallow sort of as she appeared in a later season, where they sort of like made her a little bit more normalized and less costumey, and I feel like when you move from the white monokini to like a tank top and jean shorts, then you've moved to the realm of like normal human with whom we can empathize. And that's the place we really need to get to, is the like, oh my god, you know, because I do love Bob's statement about Marshmallow, which is like, she goes where she pleases, she's free. That is an important moment, I think, for Marshmallow, but even more important for me is the like, hey guys, what's up? Can I have a burger?
Right.
That's the place where it's like, oh yeah, trans people have like lives.
Right. Sometimes they just want to chill and have a burger.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that normalization is what we need. So, all right, y'all, as we wrap up, I want you to get in the comments, message us, let us know what our costumes should be next week. Yeah. This week was sequins. Next week can also be sequins. Mm. I think we're pretty flexible on that. And apparently the theme always, whatever you give us, will also be tassels. So I'm just letting you know that right now.
Get into the movement.
Girl, I don't even think I have tassels.
We have to fix that.
Oh my God, we have to fix that from the Amazon.com. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for joining us. Please watch. Please check out and follow us on YouTube. You can follow the link. We'll post it at the bottom of the comments here.
Yes,
let us know.
7, right here on my Facebook page, and then also on my YouTube channel.
And we will see you next week.
All right. We'll see you on Tuesday. Bye.
Take another bite of that Jell-O mold. Just take it. Just take another bite of that Jell-O mold.
Must I?
Just a quick little bite. Just a little one.
I have to get into the lift situation.
It's so... Yeah. It's so gross. Girl, go eat some real food. I'm so worried about you.
Dinner's on the table, kitties. You see that? Like, I got wonky lash. All right. See you all later.